I'm Bryce Jarrett, director and editor of Miracle Cures and the History of Addiction Treatment.
In 1621, the Mayflower tossed on a frigid ocean, anchored off the coast of an unknown new land. Work crews toiled ashore to erect permanent shelter, while the rest of the eager but tired colonists remained on board. Life on the crowded decks had become unbearable, and a raging sickness made death common. To make matters worse, passengers and crew were almost out of beer.
Local public television affiliates in the Midwest have agreed to air the project. That's great news. So we have an interest and we have an audience. The film relies heavily on animation, which is unique to a historical documentary of such a serious and often taboo subject. But it's an edgy visual technique that we believe will capture audiences of all ages and hold their attention and get the story across. If you were to contribute to the film, the money would go to primarily purchasing historical stock footage, securing voiceover talent, and to finish up editing and animation. Stock footage has more than doubled in price since my last film, and this has really been an eye-opener for us and pretty much proven to be an insurmountable obstacle to finish the project.
You know, there's no such thing as pro football or pro basketball, then baseball is the sport. And the main story is this raw-boned pitcher for the Cleveland Indians, Bob Feller, who can throw a ball at 100 miles an hour. This is absolutely incredible. It's a story every place, not just in Cleveland, not just in the American League. This is a phenomenon. Bob Feller's catcher was a guy named Rollie Hemsley, and he was Feller's favorite catcher. He was about the only one on the team that could catch that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. The problem is Rollie Hemsley was a drunk. And there were lots of days where he couldn't go out and play because he was so drunk.
It's good to turn around.
I wish you could have been there, as Johnny Cash spoke frankly to me of his life-threatening, years-long friendship with alcohol and other drugs, and how that friendship turned into a battle for his life, his Armageddon.
And it burns, burns, burns.
Preceding that, I'd been director of employment for the state of South Dakota. We had like 14,000 employees. I was looking for something to do to help those troubled employees, not realizing that I was one of those. And in that,
addiction is everywhere, and it kills. Some people get better, but how? Historically, many treatments have actually produced harm in the name of help. Cocaine to treat morphine addiction, bloodletting or electroshock therapy for alcoholism, mysterious gold potions. Today, millions of people and dollars continue to chase miracle cures. But are modern treatment methods any more humane or effective? Miracle Cures and the History of Addiction Treatment brings this important American story to film for the first time, featuring some of today's most preeminent treatment authorities and an edgy style that both entertains and informs. The film will explore how treatment methods have evolved from colonial times to today. The film draws heavily from the history captured in William White's book, Slaying the Dragon. I remember when I first called Bill White and told him my idea about making a film based on this book. And he was pretty thrilled about that, the fact that someone finally wanted to make a film about the history of addiction treatment, because there's tons of films out there about addiction, but nothing about how the modern day treatment facilities came about and what they did to treat addicts in the 1700s through the 1800s, really up until AA came along. And his book is really the only comprehensive historical text on this. And so I started writing up a list of questions and a script and started shooting shortly after that. It's a 90-minute film intended for audiences of public broadcasting and the History Channel. Because no other films exist on the topic, Miracle Cures may also serve as an educational tool for addiction counselors nationwide. With Miracle Cures, I hope to improve public understanding of treatment centers and explore how treatment methods have progressed from baseless home remedy cure-alls to the more humane, proven methods of modern treatment centers. Miracle Cures targets anyone who has encountered the consequences of addiction. In 2009, the U.S. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration reported that 23 million Americans suffered from significant substance abuse or dependence. Many more millions of their friends, family, coworkers, and employers also were affected. Your contribution to this film will help someone you know make informed inquiries and choices about treatment options for themselves or others. So thanks for taking a look at our project.